Hi, it's Paul from Model Builder International. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, link is just down there as always. That way you get notified of future videos, the reviews, build videos when I get the time, and also the occasional competition. Today we're going to have a look at an older nuts and bolts volume. This is volume 15 on the Marder 3. Okay, so let's have a look inside the book. Nuts and Bolts Volume 15. This is on the Marder 3. As you probably know, there's 3 variants of the Marder 3. This book is on the Panzerjäger 38D with the Russian 76.2mm anti-tank gun in it. The other 2 variants, both with Pak 40 anti-tank guns in them, are issues 17 and 18. So, if we get inside, start off with a pretty intense build of a Marder 3. This, as I said, is the SDKFZ 139. The other 2 variants are SDKFZ 138s. This book was published in 2001, so although the description of the vehicle is current, pretty much up to date, but some of the modelling stuff is obviously quite a few years old now. So going through it, we start off with some background. This one was built on the Panzer 38 G, but basically when the Germans invade Russia, they suddenly found T-34s and KV tanks and had nothing really capable of dealing with them very easily. Hence the rushed mobile anti-tank guns, which they sort of cobbled together, such as this one. There's a bit of detail on the anti-tank gun they used. They captured loads of Russian 76.2mm guns, basically rechambered them to use the German Pak 40 ammunition, and stick it on top of a Panzer 38 with not a turret, but a basically gun shield, and you've got a SDKFZ 139, the first version of the Marder 3. So goes to that. Production was a tropical version. Some of these went to North Africa. Production numbers is 344 made, and here's the serial numbers. Radio equipment that was fitted, camouflage and markings is covered. Experience reports, technical advantages and disadvantages. Main disadvantages: the thing was really tall, way too tall really, and that was the main thing. It was too easy to see, and the suspension was somewhat overloaded. When we go through the pictures, you'll see that, normally we see photographs of tanks carrying spare track links. This one, you'll see there's spare suspension parts as well. So they're in active service with the units. List of the various units that had them and their strengths at various times when they got the vehicles. North Africa, units in North Africa, and then on the Eastern Front as well, where most of them ended up. The allocations to units, when vehicles were allocated to various units, and then modelling it. Obviously, as I said, this was published 2001, so it's a fair few years out of date now, and there's been some other kits since then. Technical details. Let me go into the black and white photographs. You can see here's the clean ones, straight out the factory. See all the variations of the gun travel log. Basically the first ones weren't really up to the job, and you see the later ones are much stronger. You can see the North Africa. Often had a trailer behind them carrying ammunition. There's a captured one being dragged onto a Allied tank transporter. often had tarpaulins over the top because obviously this thing was open to the elements. Whitewash, and you see various photographs where the whitewash washes off first. There's quite a few black and white photographs going through this. All the text is in German and English. English is perfect, and the descriptions of what you're seeing are very good as well. This is a photograph shortly after the war taken in Aberdeen, and the vehicle you see there, that's now in the museum in Aberdeen, that's still there. 1/35th scale diagrams. Lots of photographs of this is the vehicle on display at Aberdeen. The paintwork obviously is not correct, but there's lots of parts, close-ups here of it, so you can see some colour plates. And back to the Aberdeen vehicle, close-ups of various parts that you didn't see in the earlier black and white photographs. Also photographs of the Marder 3 in Saumur in France. So going through those. And it describes bits that are non-standard or bits that are missing as it goes through. And the different suspension parts that could be fitted. So it goes through all those. There's lots of close-up details here, enough to add your own details to any Marder 3 build and get things in the right places when you're building a kit. Shows with the gun, the gearbox, and now this book also covers the Russians. The artillery piece is 76.2mm, basically anti-tank gun, with diagrams and then also photographs of things in museums and some close-ups of various gun parts. And then at the end, some more photographs of that model build. So everything you need to build this particular version of the Marder 3, the SDKFZ 139 with the Russian gun in it. Everything you need is in this book. I'm not aware of a book that would be any better than this one, so it's the only reference you'd need for that build. So many thanks to Nuts and Bolts for sending it along for us to have a look at. And if you want to get a copy, there's a link underneath this video to take you to the Nuts and Bolts online store.